Welcome to the Candy Wrapper 6, a program with backbone. Well, first of all, I'm going to start out with this program. There's been some people saying, why does he have that program? Why do you air that? Well, first of all, people, this thing right here gives me the right to freedom of speech. There's always going to be some negative people out there that don't like to hear what other people have to say. This program is based on my opinion and my opinion only. The reason I started this is because when I go to council meeting and try to talk, they allow me 3 minutes and then you're treated not in a good way. Okay? You don't always get answers. I'm still been waiting on one answer for 6 months. But again, this program is based on my opinion and my opinion only. Am I going to offend some people? It's just nature. It's going to happen. It's just like Republicans, Democrat, hardcore. You know, come on, give me a break. Candy Wrapper 5 was based on a little bit of karma. Just to educate you on what happens if you run for office. If you speak your piece, the retaliation that's out there against you. Now, if people don't like what I said in Candy Wrapper 5, I guess that's too bad. Because it's unnecessary. I had to bring it out. It's done with. But again, this program is based on my opinion only, not for anybody. You say the glass is half full, I say it's half empty. Same thing. Different opinion, okay? I don't like the spending that's going on in Willmar. Our infrastructure, listen, for you people especially that haven't been here for a long time, you don't get it. You want it to be your perfect little paradise. I'm not saying it can't be, but our infrastructure has not been addressed for years, trust me. I do my research. And if you say I speak half-truths or I lie, again, all these white papers, this stack, 90% of them come from the Tribune. It's what they write. I speak verbatim on this. I do not change it like other people do in this town. The best thing for you to do, you negative ones out there that don't like this program, it is my First Amendment right. Get over it. You have the right to come in here and do what you want. You come in and do the other side of what I say. That's fine. But this gives me time to speak my piece and bring up some other issues, other side of issues that don't get talked about. You know, this town is always one way and one way only. The people that speak up aren't supposed to be able to speak up. I've heard it from the mayor. I've heard it at council. I've heard it many times. People, it isn't a matter of saying I'm bashing the mayor. I'm saying what I have been told in the past. This is a truth. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. Give me a break again. Come on, my opinion. If you don't like this program, learn how to press the button on your remote and shut it off. Let's not get so feisty out there because I see the other side of things a little bit different maybe than you do, but I've been in this area for 63 years. I have the right to speak. I have the knowledge. I have the education. I've seen it. And no matter what I say on this program, no matter how bad you think it is, how negative, I will never bring anything as negative as that businessman that molested those 3 kids. I will never bring that bad stuff to Willmar. You say what you want, but don't you forget what's going on around this town. Okay, my program, get over it. I also want to say this has been the most requested show that RAC 8's ever had, like it or not. For good, for worse. People want to see it. It's out there. The other thing is, I've had over 20 comments. One constructive one, all the rest are positives. Now, all you negative ones, you send your emails over here. And you bug these guys about it. Again, this is public access. We have the right to do this. If you can't figure that out, well, our education system isn't very good. Well, speaking of that, that just brings me into, on one of my programs I was wondering why we have so many kids leaving our school district and going to other schools. Now, is that a negative for me saying, well, hey, it's the truth? I had a businessman email me and said, here's a link. This will give you a little bit more information why they're leaving. So I looked it up. There's a system called the Great School Ratings. They rate schools in many states on a 1 to 10 basis on academics, college preparedness, test scores, whatever. So this is on a 1 to 10. I'm going to give you a little information here. And don't think I make this up. This is on the website, people. A lot of you people just don't want to believe it. Believe it. It's there. This is why it's happening. And a businessman gave me the link. He's also concerned. Kennedy School, K through 5. Rating of 3 out of 10. Roosevelt, K through 5. Rating 3 out of 10. Wilmer Middle School, 6th grade to 8th grade. Rating 4 out of 10. And Wilmer Senior High, 9th through 12th. Rating 4 out of 10. Okay, you know, I don't know. Some of you people have a hard time getting on it. This isn't really a good, for as big as Wilmer is, and you call it a regional center. I don't know whoever brought up the word regional. I kind of think it's sub-regional. Don't think I'm saying way in the basement. I'm just saying it's not regional. We're not that big. We don't have the facilities here to call it regional. But people, again, this is on the website. It's not hard to see. But a lot of you people don't want to go there because you don't want the truth. But how can we ask for over $50 million? The people don't make that money here. And a lot of you probably complaining, you're either on one side of the spectrum or the other. You're either making a lot of money and you don't care, but you don't like what's going on, what I say. And the other people aren't making enough money, but they want it to be status quo, just leave it alone, and it is what it is. All I'm saying is I'm trying to find out why and to let people know why students are leaving here. And like I said, it's also teachers' kids that aren't going to school here. Come on. There's some of the schools, got a couple other ones here, in the area. I want to give you their rating. Wilmer Area Learning Center, 7th through 12th. It's got a rating of 1. Not much to be proud of, and I'm not knocking it, but people, that's reality. Kirkhoven Secondary is a 5. New London Spicer is a 7. That's awesome. McRae is a 5. Atwater Grove City is a 6. Renville County West is a 5. Bold is a 5. Belgrade is a 5. You know, it's close to a 4, but it's one step up than Wilmer and their smaller schools, smaller towns. Where's the problem lie? Oh, dig this one. Painesville is a 8. Litchfield is a 7, and Buffalo Lake Hector is a 6. Again, all I'm saying is there's an issue here, but you want money. Over $50 million you're asking people. And there's a lot of people out there that don't make real good money in Wilmer, that are strapped. And this whiteboard here gives you a little better breakdown on stuff. We can change this question mark here to $22 million for this park master plan that they want to implement. Again, once you absorb this, how do you function and how in good faith do you ask for over $50 million from an area that doesn't have good wages? That's what I'm trying to get out. Let's get the truth out. Let's be fair about this. We have infrastructure problems. Ron Christensen mentioned at City Council meeting, we have other priorities than the parks. We do. I mentioned it when this program started. People, the infrastructure's falling apart here. We have roads that are used 24/7, 365 days a year. A lot more than the parks are being used. I live over by Miller Park. I grew up over there. I played on that park. You know something? Some of that equipment's the same stuff I played on, but guess what? It's still functional. And you mean to tell me that a kid going over there would say, Mommy, I don't want to play on the park because the stuff's too old? A park is a place to get away for kids to enjoy. But it's been documented that kids don't use the park. I went to one of the first park meetings over at Jefferson. I asked. I said, don't you have any documentation over the years of how the parks have been used? Well, we'd have to look up, and they didn't say much. Well, and then the consultant came back and said, yeah, it's a proven fact that more kids are staying in and not using the parks because they're gaming. They're playing electronic stuff. Okay, there again. You ask for 50-some million for the schools, and you ask for 22 million, plus our budget's 33 million, plus we don't pay good wages in town. People, you can condemn my program all you want. Like I say, Candy Wrapper 5 was a little bit of karma for these people that have been bashing. Not just me, excuse me, but other people. It doesn't need to be. We all have the freedom of speech. You guys say what you want. You start bashing me, I can handle it for a while, and then it's going to be a little bit of karma. It's going to come back. Look in the paper today. Mr. Enos had an article in there and mentioned one of the guys that writes in Facebook all the time, mentions his name. I never mentioned his name. Again, this program is to educate you from the other side and see things in a realistic light. We don't all have the money. I speak for the seniors too on fixed incomes. I am on a fixed income. I am retired. I don't have a problem with this town spending money if you spend it in the right way. But this park business, 22 million again, spooks me. And it should spook you too. It's right here in your billfold. Come on, people. But getting back to the schools, we have an issue there, but nobody ever says that. You never hear that in the Tribune, and I'm not going to knock the Tribune, but I'm saying somewhere along the line, things don't get transferred in the correct way. They don't speak all this stuff. It should be so people get a good understanding. But Wilbur wants to have all this new stuff, and look what we got. Just like the wind turbines. They were down the other day, one of them again. Sensor bad, whatever, now it's on, now it's off, it's on. Yeah, too bad it's sitting there. But again, my program does not bring that much negativity to this town like what happened, like I mentioned. So don't you dare say that. And again, I have the right. Okay, the parks, like I say, I don't get it. They were good enough for me. I played basketball there, pickup games. I played softball, baseball, league, pickup games, whatever. You don't see that anymore. I go sit at the parks. I go to Rice Park, I go to KFC, grab some chicken wings, boom. Me and a couple buddies, hot rod buddies, get done working on our cars, we go over, sit in the park. And we look. Last 3 times we've been there, we sat over by the wading pool. The garbage was overflowed and dumped on the ground, and it was just blowing around. And then I drove by a couple days, same thing. Doesn't always get picked up. Again, the people that use the parks, excuse me, they need to be responsible. People need to be responsible for their actions. I've said this. That park was hardly being used. That park has a bad name, Rice Park. Not because of Rice, but I'm saying. It's had some assaults over there. Boom, people are a little nervous going over there. I don't care how much money you stick in that park. Once it gets a bad name, it gets a bad name. You can fix all the grass and all that. You think that really makes a difference for people? People are going to go to the parks to get away. It's a big area. It's like a common ground. I mean, hey, come on. I'm just saying, this money being spent. And one thing that bothers me is they said, the consultant says, oh yeah, over on Lincoln, we're going to change the diamond, we're going to move the ice skating rink because it kills the grass, it's not good for the grass. You know, that grass has never been good, and I played a lot of softball over there and Little League when I was little. The grass has never been that good, and we've had a rink there all these years. If that was a big factor, why didn't we change it? Why didn't somebody? We're paying people big money. That's why I have this program. We pay people big money, but we have to have consultants come in to tell them how to do their job. Where's the problem lie here, people? Again, I'm going to do a little flip here. The city council's planning a retreat. I think it's only $3,500 they're paying this consultant or this guy. Well, I just found out that that guy, his firm is faith-based. Now, I think it's time to separate church from state. And another thing is, our mayor says he wants to be transparent all the time. We'll have transparency. I was just notified yesterday and looked it up that on this consultant, or the mediator or whatever, on his Facebook page, talks about Jesus and stuff. Well, that's fine, but I don't think that needs to be for our city council. But on his Facebook page, Marv Calvin and his wife's pictures on it. Well, that was never mentioned anywhere, that Calvin knew this guy or talks to him all the time or has his picture on there. I think that's conflict of interest. I'm sorry. That's my opinion, people. Am I knocking Calvin? No, I'm saying he says things, he doesn't say things that are there. It's going to come out, people. It doesn't take much digging, and I have people calling me and dropping off papers and this and that. People, the truth's going to come out sooner or later. But I'm just saying there's something not right here. And also, he was working on this retreat back in November after he maybe was elected in, but he wasn't sworn in. We still had a different mayor at that time. But Kelvin was working on this retreat with Charlene. Why wasn't our other mayor working on that retreat? Again, he wasn't in office yet. He was voted in as mayor, but he wasn't sworn in yet. It wasn't his place. This is my opinion. In my heart, that's not right. But all you people, hey, I don't know. You know, if you voted for Marv, fine. And you don't like to hear this because you want everything to be on the up and up and you can't handle the truth. Well, again, too bad. This is my program, my opinion. We need to cut back on this spending, though. The park deal, I don't get it. Here's another thing. Kandi County use of Spicer Park for Ninja Warrior event. If we're such a regional center, big regional center, why isn't this happening here? Here, Wilmer. They're talking about they didn't want to use the parking lot over there for part of. Man, you could have had it out of Robbins Island. Nice big chunk there right by the lake. Would have been cool. Hey, I don't get it. Why? Whatever. Now, Green Lake's a nice area, but I can see a little problem with taking up that much when I don't know how much the beach gets used out there anymore compared to when I was a kid. It used to be packed all the time. We used to hitchhike out there. You'd go over the bridge over here, over the tracks on 2371. There'd probably be 5 people, if not 7, hitchhiking to the lake. You don't see that anymore. Of course, you don't dare to pick up hitchhikers in this day and age. But hey, again, I just don't get it. Why didn't that happen in Wilmer? Hey. Here's a letter to the editor. Big spenders on school board. I see Wilmer School Board wants to spend $50+ million on new schools, upgrades, and field houses. Isn't that same district that couldn't afford to feed a couple of students when their lunch tickets expired? This guy's from Atwater. Good comment. The truth. But people, Are you going to bash this guy too because he spoke up? I know that people have, when you have kids in school, you always want them to have the best, and you're hoping they have the best. But I was just told again the other day, a guy that drives, I'm not going to say. But anyway, he told me, he was over at my house, and he said, Bob, I heard you mention something on Kandi Rapper. I want to tell you where my kids go. My kids don't get the education because they're helping the teachers tutor the Somali kids in school. Now, I'm not directing this towards the Somali. I'm just stating a fact of what he told me, okay? You guys take it, and that's a problem out there in the Wilmer area, whatever, especially here. People take everything out of context. They like to put their twist on it and make everybody look bad. And we're shunned if we speak up in public. Come on, get over it. Here we go. Mall of America threatened. Now, why is that? It breaks my heart that here in Minnesota, and why is it? It's the demographics of the state, whatever, the nation. We're in trouble, people, and you better open your eyes to it. I talked to a city official a while back. Talked to him for an hour. And I said, why do we have the demographics we do in Wilmer? You know, it really bothers me. Things are not real good sometimes. He said, Bob, all roads end in Wilmer. Okay, there you go. City official. You know, people, you probably don't like the truth, but it's the truth. And for you that haven't been here, I've been here 63 years in this area. I know how it works. I know how Wilmer used to be. Uptown Wilmer, no matter how many Somalis you put up here, and the businesses are thriving, don't take this in a negative way. It will never be what it once was. It just can't. Again, it's reality. Am I against the Somalis? No. I am not racist. I can be prejudiced. I can be prejudiced against white people. But people, it's the way it is. And it is what it is. It can't change. You can spend all the money you want. I hope they thrive. I don't want to see problems. I see cigarette butts and spit all over the corners in certain areas. It bothers me. I see trash in the alleys. Oh, it's been kind of picked up. Again, there's always the other side that they don't talk about. I'm trying to bring that out so you see the whole spectrum here, not just one side. Not that glass, just half full. It can be half empty too. Okay. Oh, got about 7 minutes left here, but I want to, not picking on any cultures, but I'm just saying, this is what's happening in the world, people, with the Muslims trying to take over and stress their issues. But I get beat up because I say something on public TV. That's not fair. Give me a break. Again, give me a break. Here it is, Prime Minister of Australia, Julia Gillard. She said Muslims who want to live under the Islamic Sharia law were told on Wednesday, to get out of Australia as the government targeted radicals in a bid to head off potential terror attacks. Separately, she angered some Australian Muslims on Wednesday by saying she supported spy agencies monitoring nations' mosques. Quote, immigrants, not Australians, must adapt. Take it or leave it. I'm tired of this nation worrying about whether we are offending some individual or their culture. Since terrorist attacks on Bali, we have experienced a surge in patriotism by the majority of Australians. This culture has been developed over 2 centuries of struggles, trials, and victories by millions of men and women who have sought their freedom. We speak mainly English, not Spanish, Lebanese, Arabic, Chinese, Japanese, Russian, or any language. Therefore, if you wish to become a part of our society, learn the language. Most Australians believe in God. This is not some Christian right-wing political push but a fact, because Christian men and women on Christian principles founded this nation, and this is clearly documented. It is certainly appropriate to display it on the walls of our schools. If God offends you, then I suggest you consider another part of the world as your new home, because God is a part of our culture. We will accept your beliefs and will not question why. All we ask is that you accept ours and live in harmony and peaceful enjoyment with us. This is our country, our land, and our lifestyle. And we will allow you every opportunity to enjoy this. But once you are done complaining, whining, and griping about our flag, our pledge, our Christian beliefs, our way of life, I highly encourage you to take advantage of one great Australian freedom, the right to leave. If you aren't happy here, then leave. We didn't force you to come here. We asked you to be here. So accept the country that accepted you. That says it all. But that right there says more. Exactly what she said. The flag doesn't give people right to create a lot of problems. It gives you freedom of speech. That's why I use it. Well, brought a tear to my eye reading that, because that's the way I feel. I'm very patriotic. And don't anybody ever question that. That's why I have this program, because I care. I don't like seeing what's happening in Wilmer or any place else. Come on, people. But again, this program, if you're out there and you like what I say, get a hold of Rudy, tell him. There's a lot of people that are, not a lot, but there's been a few negative people out there that are, they won't say it to me, but they say it here. Again, I have the right. Again, I'm running out of time here. Oh, another thing, I'm just going to get real. Here's a good one. Here's a good thing happening in the area. A friend of mine has a business out on 71, Auto Value, Kim Larson, and Melanie Garbrick has Baker Graphics out there. They shut that road off. They pulled that intersection and put that cable up in the road. I talked about it at a council meeting. I complained about it wrote a letter to the editor. This is, I don't know, 3 years ago, 4 years ago now. Now they're talking about opening it up again. Well, that was kind of a no-brainer. Should have never happened. You know, people, so when I speak up, I'm backing these people, you know, trying to give another voice to help them. So you guys knock me, do whatever you want. But again, I'm trying to give you the other side, and I do some good too, you know. This has been kind of a weird deal. It just kind of took the whole pizzazz out of everything, but I'm not going to change, and I'll keep doing this as long as I can. I know some people out there trying to get this program pulled, but, you know, like I say, it's unfortunate that 5 had to happen, but it needed to be. Read the paper today, you'll see why. But come on, people, open your eyes. Let's not condemn everybody for speaking up, and let's look at the spending in Wilmer, and let's look at the people that aren't making the money. I'd like to hear the council once say, we can't do this because we can't afford it and people can't afford it. Let's look at another option. Let's table it for a while and think about it. That's all I ask. So, until the Kandi Wrapper 7, I hope you can find some enjoyment this week and try to smile. And hey, again, let's try to get a handle on this domestic assault and issue in Wilmer, because that shouldn't be happening. Again, thank you much. Appreciate your time. Kandi Wrapper at charter.net. Appreciate to hear from you. So, thanks again. See you next time.